All across the world, you can hear the sound of a game that roars. The Olympic Games in South Korea are just around the corner, serving as another reminder that what began centuries ago on a sheet of ice in Scotland has gone truly global. This winter, the tradition continues in a new locale, Omaha, Nebraska. 4 teams from 3 different continents come together to see who will emerge with the coveted American Cup. Last season, after 3 years of trying, that honor finally belonged to Team USA. Now with the U.S. Olympic trials fast approaching, a new set of American faces will look to defend the crown. Tonight at Baxter Arena, the action continues in the mixed doubles division as the American pair of Matt and Becca Hamilton take on Team Japan. Can they maintain momentum for Team USA in the campaign for the Cup? It's a question that will be answered tonight. NBCSN Curling Night in America. NBCSN presents another edition of NBCSN Curling Night in America from Omaha, Nebraska, a town which grew up in the 1860s when it became a railroad hotbed in America. The Old Market District downtown still has cobblestone streets. It's not cobblestones inside Baxter Arena, it's curling stones as the Olympic Channel, home of Team USA, presents our latest game, the United States and Japan. Back in Omaha one more time for another edition of NBCSN Curling Night in America. Jason Knapp, happy to have you with us alongside the Olympic bronze medalist from Italy in 2006, Pete Fenson, also an 8-time U.S. national champion. And Pete, the American fans here in Nebraska, how about a shout out to them? They've been great supporting this event all season long.
Yeah, not only run a great event here, but the support and the fan support has been fantastic.
Well, looking forward to seeing our competition and how things shake out down the stretch. 4 nations coming here overall: China, Japan, the United States, and Scotland, each bringing 3 teams that's getting hot and heavy in all those individual competitions for men's, women's, and mixed doubles play. We'll have champions in all of those divisions, and also the overall top nation brings home the American Cup. It's more mixed doubles tonight, Pete. This format is new to the Olympic Games coming up in February in South Korea. Usually a curling game, 4 players, just 2 per team. And boy, it leads to some wild swings.
It really does, and I would say mixed doubles is still in its infancy, and even at the top level, most of these players are still trying to figure out the best way to play the game.
Boy, the U.S. team of Matt and Becca Hamilton, brother and sister, they seem to have acclimated themselves quite well to this format, representing the U.S. at last year's World Championships.
It does appear to suit them. I think that their relationship has a lot to do with their success on and off the ice.
Well, we'll see if the Americans can continue a winning formula tonight in this game. For more on the Americans and the matchup, let's check in with our Trenny Kisnera.
Jason, thanks very much. I'm here with Matt Hamilton. And Matt, we just talked about this. You guys win this match. You win mixed doubles, and Team USA wins this tournament. How much pressure?
You know, there's obviously pressure there because everyone wants to win. It'd be awesome to kind of cinch it for the U.S., but me and Becca like the pressure, kind of thrive on it. So we're hoping that this is going to be our best game yet and really put on a show.
For you guys, too, considering that you have men's Olympic trials at this rink coming up, and you also have mixed doubles trials, how nice is it to get into this kind of competition before that happens?
Oh, it's priceless to have, like, good international competition and stiff competition at that for a warm-up, kind of, so to speak. So we're excited to come back here in November and hope to roll these wins along into December for mixed doubles.
All right, thanks very much, Matt. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Trenny, Matt, thanks. As Trenny talked about, the United States can seal the deal, both in mixed doubles and overall tonight, and bring home the American Cup if they can get one more win as they lead the overall team standings. And Pete, we talk about mixed doubles, the format, 8 ends and rocks put in play to start off the game.
Yeah, that's right. So between rocks being placed to start the end and the rules that eliminate rocks from being removed, there gets to be lots of rocks in the forefoot and lots of scoring opportunities for both teams.
Again, 2 players per team, 1 male, 1 female, and for Team Japan, it's a husband and wife combination. Michiko Tamabechi, the 37-year-old, will start things off for Japan. Her husband Kenji, the second player here, and he's sweeping with the first of 5 thrown rocks in the end. And again, each team having one placed to start off here in mixed doubles.
So as the norm with mixed doubles, the first rock is thrown to the middle. Japan was trying to get that right into the top of the button, but came up a little bit short.
So we have a husband and wife.
I think going this way is a touch slower because we haven't thrown it as much, like the pregame practice. Okay. So what were you? I'm thinking like 80. Okay.
And a brother and sister was my thought. And if you haven't seen the Hamiltons before, they have a brother and sister type relationship. Becca, the younger of the two at age 27.
It's good.
Stay close.
Line only.
Yep.
Line only.
Yep.
Line only.
Yep.
As we hear here to start the game, they really do a good job of communicating with each other.
Yep.
Here Matt's trying to help Becca with the speed. Does a pretty good job there.
Fine first throw from Becca Hamilton.
It's probably like a 70.
They're from McFarland, Wisconsin, just outside of Madison. And here is 39-year-old Kenji Tamabechi.
There's room here for Japan to get one to the button. That last rock of Becca's slid a little bit deep.
Okay. The Tamabechis have represented Japan at the World Championships before.
Flash.
What do you like?
I don't mind that drop.
And the Hamiltons represented the United States at last year's World Championships. And Pete, they looked like they were cruising towards a medal. They reeled off an unbeaten record
76.
in pool play before being upended by Finland in the playoffs. They ended up in 10th. As you see the first thrown rock here from Matt Hamilton.
Hard! Hard!
Yeah, they really did have it going at the World Championships. Just kind of an unfortunate finish to a good event for them.
Good sweeping.
So the United States looking strong early. The Americans and Japan here on Curling Night in America. NBCSN Curling Night in America is being brought to you by Team USA. Every donation matters. Show your support for Team USA and visit teamusafund.org to make a gift today. By the World Curling Federation, proud supporter of Curling Everywhere. By the 20,000 plus members of USA Curling. And by Cryomax 8-hour cold packs, the most advanced cold therapy technology available today. NBCSN Curling Night in America underway again from Baxter Arena in Omaha. There are few places around town with the name Arksarben. For those of you not familiar, that's Nebraska spelled backwards, but everything pointed in the right direction here in our mixed doubles game tonight between Japan and the United States. Plenty of rocks in play here in the opening end. And the middle player for Japan, Kenji Tamabechi, ready to fire one of the Japanese yellow stones.
U.S. off to a good start here in this end with a couple of good draws and a great sweep job by Becca Hamilton on that last draw to put one right on top of the button. Well, Japan answers with a beauty of its own there with a tap back. Looks like they might have even got shot out of it.
So the United States coming down to survey the situation. And while we've got a moment, let's meet the Hamiltons.
Becca Hamilton, mixed doubles, McFarland, Wisconsin.
Matt Hamilton, mixed doubles, McFarland, Wisconsin.
For the record, Matt is 17 months older than Becca and probably would be happy to remind you of that all the time. And Pete, we'll see it tonight. We've seen it when they played last year, when they won the U.S. Mixed Doubles National Championship and at Worlds.
76 on your last one.
They are entertaining to watch and listen to.
They really are, and quite dynamic, and they have a great way of communicating with each other that not only helps them be successful on the ice, but it's very fun to watch for us too.
Matt has said we never had to go through a honeymoon phase as partners because I've been saying brutally honest things to my sister all my life.
They won't try and take the two out. There's stuff there.
Yeah, it's quite a relationship that they have. You know, Matt sometimes gets lost in things that are going on in the rink or just being Matt, and Becca has no problem reeling it back in and bringing it back to the game.
I think it's safer.
Well, they've been going back and forth here on what to play. And Matt opting for this shot, saying it's safer.
Yeah, it's a good call here after that great tap back by the Japanese. Matt just wants to clean things up a little bit here and get some rocks moving. Not exactly what he had in mind. He's trying to remove a couple of yellows, but ends up jamming that right in the pocket.
Shoot.
Actually, probably made things worse for him and Becca now. Trying to make a double here, but hits the first one just a little high, stacks the second one right on the pile. Just barely misses that rock in the 8-foot.
Hoping to clip that other yellow there in the white 8-foot circle. Now Japan plotting strategy. While we got a sec, let's meet the Japanese.
Michiko Tomabechi, doubles, Iwate, Japan.
Kenji Tomabechi, doubles, Iwate, Japan.
So as the Japanese look on, Chico is the more experienced player. We mentioned she and her husband have represented Japan at the mixed doubles worlds. She was also an Olympian, part of a 5th place team for Japan in Sochi. And again, since then, Pete, the Japanese women have won their first ever World Championship medal back in 2016 at the Worlds. They are starting to become a consistent threat in every discipline, men's, women's, and mixed.
Yeah, as we've spoken of before, a lot of these countries, such as Japan, they've got lots of resources that they've applied to this sport, and they're really out chasing Olympic and World Championship medals. Japan's in pretty good shape here after that little miss by Matt. They got 2 rocks in the 4-foot, and that one red American stone is actually serving as a catcher in the back.
Japanese just laying out a guard, and you see here with only 2 players, they need extra sweeping. The one person who threw it able to get up and help out as well.
And sweeping still a factor in mixed doubles, but due to the nature of the game, I think it's a little less effective because they aren't able to start quite as early, and a lot of times there's only one sweeper in action.
It's tough.
A little error there by the Japanese, I would say. They had a chance to freeze one on the pile here and really put the pressure on Matt and Becca.
This isn't bad if we make it.
Right, but it still leaves them a shot to sit 2, right?
Yeah. But guarding, I mean, they have.
To sit 3. Okay, the draw then.
What?
Then that draw.
Just guard it. Just guard it.
The draw?
Guard.
So they've elected to throw the guard here. With the hammer sometimes can be a little tricky when you start plugging up the front and you have the last rock. There's still a couple of rocks left in the end so far.
And it's interesting too here, Pete.
I would rather have them throw that port than
Okay. The tap they've thrown a couple times.
tab they've thrown, yeah.
They're going through their strategy, but it's interesting. Remember, the middle player throws 2, 3, and 4. Becca
90.
threw the first, but she's got to throw the last. So Matt's kind of deciding what he wants to throw, but Becca's got to figure out what's going to be available for her at the end too.
Yeah, like it's important for her to communicate with Matt what she wants him to leave her for the last shot. They may obviously know that, but in certain situations, that's definitely something that needs to be discussed.
Unlike in a traditional game when The last player, normally the skip, is going to throw those last 2 rocks. They're making a decision knowing they're the player that has to execute what's coming. And in this case, it's your partner who's got that last shot.
And sometimes it's really important because some days in this situation, Becca might really have a good feel for draw weight, so she has no problem lobbing one to the button for a single or an extra point. Some days she might not. So, you know, it's important for her and Matt to communicate that throughout the course of the game.
Well, Japan here with its final rock, and the United States has hammer, but the Japanese trying to set this up to potentially get a steal here in the opening end.
You can see the port. They're trying to throw this yellow rock through. They're just playing the pick out to lie 3. They're just trying to remove that American stone and count 3. Just tight out of hand and not able to get it through the hole.
Yeah. Toss it.
Yeah.
I don't think they even have a shot to score here. Japan's got things pretty sewed up. And it looks like they're just going to throw it away and give the Japanese 1.
Again, that red American stone is closer than the second yellow stone, so the United States opting on the side of caution here to not give Japan anything else. They'll concede the 1 here with the throw through. And the Americans fall behind, but they will have the hammer back in the second end as Japan gets on the board first.
That was my bad.
That's just another thing. We have plenty of time. Just come down and look at where we got to hit it. You said you thought we hit it in the right spot, so.
Yeah, well, it curled more on me at the end than I thought it was going to.
Little post-shot analysis, just like they used to do all the time back home in Wisconsin. Now here in Omaha, try to play catch-up in a moment.
That's right.
The United States stubbing its toe opening end here in mixed doubles against Japan, giving up a steal of 1, but the U.S. gets the last shot hammer advantage back here for end number 2. Jason Knapp, Olympic bronze medalist Pete Benson, Trenny Kisnerick, and you. Glad to have you with us for NBCSN Curling Night in America.
Team USA actually caught a little break in the first end after Matt made that mistake with the run-in. Japan had a chance to lie 3 and wreck the guard.
So rocks in play in this end, and Japan essentially just ticking one of their stones aside. Matt Hamilton with a play. And Pete, big for the U.S. to realize and not go after something crazy there at the end of the end and just concede the 1. How difficult is that?
Well, it's only 1 point for the Japanese being the first end. Probably not that tough of a decision for them. You know, there's nothing there for them but trouble. So throw it away, give up the single. Not a big deal.
Is just that much less weight. Yeah. I mean, it just fudged on me.
When it gets a little bit more difficult to make those decisions is later in the game when maybe you might have a low percentage shot for a bundle. You know, to have the self-discipline to not throw it sometimes is tough.
So the button is currently unoccupied as Kenji Tamabechi anxiously watches his latest rock. And not able to push it through.
Some line problems here for the Japanese so far in this second end. They've wrecked a couple of guards.
They got to throw a board at most.
Now leaving Team USA a chance to lie 3 themselves. Should be able to get one through that hole on the right side of the sheet.
Hack the board.
What?
Hack. It's buried about 1 inch.
Whatever you want.
Okay. Solid hack.
Hack. Hack.
Wow. Off.
Hack.
Off, Beck.
It's coming down.
Whoa.
Here it goes.
Gotta curl a little bit. Whoa. Whoa.
Just trying to navigate that port. Like to get to the nose. Nicely done, good result there. Team USA lies 3 in the 4-foot.
The point counterpoint of their little conversation there of how that rock was going to play out.
Well, Matt was kind of discussing the weight. Beck said, just make it. Throw whatever weight you want. And there's the result.
Quality stuff from Team USA, currently lying 3.
Now Japan has to navigate this port themselves and try and wiggle a rock in here into the 4-foot somewhere and try and get shot even if they can. Nicely done, leaving it right, almost touching the button.
Back 4, back 8. You just gotta punch it to here.
Just heavy, just try and throw a draw right to the crotch here.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Matt Hamilton, those
Like that?
blue shoes.
It's really baried. It'll get there with
Can't
back
miss
line.
him on the ice.
Okay,
We saw
can go
red a
less than
couple of
back line.
seasons ago.
Huh?
You can throw back 4, back 8.
Right.
So we heard Matt say this rock's pretty buried. Just gonna try and give it a little tap, get it moved behind the tee line. Try and leave the shooter somewhere where they can use it.
69.
Yep. Whoa. Close. Yep. Whoa. Close. Yep. Hard. Hard. Whoa. Yep. Yep.
Should
Whoa.
turn over hard now and finish.
Go on ours.
That's about as good as he could make it with that weight, I think.
Wasn't there.
So Japan still has one closest to the center, the counting stone for the moment. One rock remaining here for each team.
Really the saving grace for the Japanese are those red stones that are deep in the 4-foot, actually preventing the removal of their own stone.
Chico Tamabechi, last throw for Japan here, N2. But Japan already stealing one in the first. Could they have some more thievery here in the second?
Just trying to throw the guard on shot rock here and force Becca to make a good one for a single. Don't think there's much more available than that for Team USA.
Gotta hit the 6, right?
Yeah. Because if you hit it right, you might be able to get this to squirt to here.
Yeah.
Probably not, though. It's probably just for one.
Doesn't look like there's anything on the out-turn side. Maybe a draw, rub, and roll for a single. But they've elected to throw this raise. In-turn raise, running the yellow onto the red in the top of the 4-foot.
Just on nose.
Yeah, sun nose is perfect.
All right, let's go.
Look at the action on adjoining sheets here. The rest of the NBCSN Curling Night in America series. We'll update other scores a little bit later on. Right now, the U.S. here in mixed doubles trying to get on the board.
They got a little break there.
One red.
That says it all.
Yeah, she hit this first one not perfectly and
Knew it was there
got a
that
little
way, but-
action. on these yellows that were almost frozen together. There you see she spins one off the other, kicks their own into the button for one.
A little luck never hurt anyone, and the Americans will take it. They get the equalizer, 1-1 after 2 in Omaha. Each team scoring a single point, first two ends.
I think we just try and get like top 8 foot behind the guard, so it makes it.
And the United States talking about things here with a lot of rocks in play here in the third.
Japan looking pretty good here again with that yellow one frozen right on shot rock on the button.
Nice and easy on the release from Matt Hamilton.
2-3. Yep. Hard then. Hard.
Beck going mostly for distance here.
Easy, easy, easy.
Trying to get this frozen on or right into the top of the forefoot where they can use it.
Laid out nicely by Team USA. Now both Matt and Becca Hamilton, World Championship experience together in mix and with their respective other teams. Matt with John Schuster's rink, world bronze medalist in 2016. And Becca, her most recent appearance at Worlds with Nina Roth's rink last year, ended up 5th. See Michiko Tamabechi eyeballing things in the house as her husband gets ready to throw. And Japan here with hammer for the first time in our game.
Angles aren't to their liking, so the Japanese just trying to open up the front there, peel the guard.
It is successful.
We just have a little extra, I'll finish it at the end. A little extra, we can finish it at the end.
Oh, we wanted to guard the red.
Yep.
So the Japanese might actually have pretty close to a nose hit triple to possibly remove all 3 of those red American stones. So Matt's going to try and put guard on. Wants to guard the red one.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Line's good. Line is good.
15-4.
Close back. Yep, yep. Corner of the red. Whoa.
Faster. Oh, wait, it was going to be good. 15-4.
Ended up pretty good. A little deeper than Matt had originally intended, but that gets the job done.
薄く強く当てたいんだけど。
半分でいくかな。やってみる。前からやる。
Japan could just play the double on those top 2 reds and try and spin the shooter to the left a little bit, possibly get it out of the way.
これさ。
こっちから行った方がいいと思うけど。でこれ2ついくよね。
いけるか。前割れてもいい感じでやってみる。
US has the counter for the moment. 2 rocks remaining for Japan. Just 1 left for Team USA.
So they have the chance to open this up a little bit more. They've elected to just make a play on this rock in the 8 foot, maybe make contact in the 4 foot, and hopefully get shot rock out of this. I'm not sure that they're shot anymore. I think Team USA is still shot in the back of the button there.
Okay. What kind of weight on this side? Huh? What'd you get on my draw over here?
Well, Japan
Yeah, that's 75.
opened things up a little bit, maybe to the benefit of the United States.
Yeah, by not making a play on that rock in the 12-foot, it's still serving as a guard for Matt and Becca, and it looks like they have a chance to possibly lie 2 now with an out-turn draw to the top of the button.
And Becca Hamilton will have that opportunity.
85.
Really good.
85.
Yep, for line. Hurry, Matt. Hurry, Matt. Hard. You got it. Come on. Hurry. Get a little bump off the spread. Come on. Hurry.
That's trying to get by the one in the 12-foot.
You got to stay on it. Stay on it. Little roll.
Beck doesn't quite have enough weight there, so it overcurls into their own in the 12-foot, but does end up guarding shot rock.
And you heard her talk about getting that bump off the rock, knew maybe it wasn't going to be there, and try to get that ricochet to have a similar effect.
Exactly. So once it made contact, it kind of moved both
ちょっ
guards
とこっ
and
ちに当ててずらすかだよね。
still probably
2点狙ってった方がいいと思
did
う
a
け
good
ど。
enough job of guarding shot.
なんかわかんないよ。
本当に。
As you can see here, the Japanese don't have to move that red rock very far, though, to probably count 3.
ちょっと触ろうよ。ドローのつもりで。
Maybe able to just throw an out-turn draw down there and give that a little kiss and see if they can get 3 out of this.
Well, for the first time of the game, Japan has the final shot of an end. And the Japanese use it to their advantage.
一応最初スイープしてきてね。ちょっと早いか。
いや、早くない。
いや。
ちょっと来て。
Up and sweeping immediately.
Looks like she's a little tight out of hand. She had to jump up and get to work with the brush right away.
And nope, that's not going to work. Didn't like it from the get-go, and the United States thinking maybe it has one. They haven't decided yet. Let's see if they measure.
That's us all day.
Matt Hamilton's unit of measurement says it's one for the United States.
Save you the time. It's red.
But they will bring out the measuring apparatus to decide.
いいよ。時間ちょっと稼
ウェイトなかった。
And Pete, a lot of times players will eyeball it themselves and concede one, give one, but here they're opting to go for the full measurement.
Yeah, it looks like it's red to me as well. I think I agree with Matt, but that's what this is all about here. The Japanese want to make sure, so they call for a measure.
As we affectionately call this here on NBCSN Curling Night, this piece of machinery, we could call it the fence-in as the deciding point.
There you go. Oh, should be close.
The official having some issues trying to set that properly.
So typically they just set this on the one they think may be closer by eye.
No. It's got to move. It's got to move. No.
And Matt Hamilton not
I'm just
enthralled here with how they're going about measuring. And Pete, again, they're trying to set this to one and then use it as a gauge to the other to see which one is closer.
Exactly. The dial on the top will tell, but that needle that's hanging down does have to touch one of the rocks.
Matt.
And a little
Didn't move
frustration
again.
from Matt with the process, and Becca trying to keep him calm.
That's fantastic. That's what we spoke of
So
earlier.
leave
That
it and hit it.
she's in charge of reeling him in when it's necessary. And
Can't rewind it every time you spin it. So you can't rewind it every time
He's clearly a little upset right now with the way she's measuring, but
The result is what the United States had hoped for. 1. Matt Hamilton's eyes never lie, at least in Omaha. And the United States gets its steal. By any measure, the U.S. in the lead now, 2-1 in Omaha.
Why wouldn't they have set the rocks while we were measuring?
United States up 2-1 against Japan. Mixed doubles, the theme tonight on NBCSN Curling Night in America. Jason Knapp, Pete Fenson, Trenny Kisnerick.
Line's great.
Glad
Stay
to
on
have
it.
you along.
Yep.
Nobody scoring a deuce as of yet. First 3 ends. Japan has the hammer back after the U.S. had a steal last end.
Stay on it.
Matt's working hard here trying to get this rock into the top of the forefoot. Doesn't quite have the distance.
Michiko Tamabeci, her first rock here in the fourth. Pete, we mentioned for the United States, Matt and Becca Hamilton representing the U.S. at the Worlds last year, and the Tamabecis have world experience. Quite a different format for mixed doubles than there is at the World Championships, where there were 12 teams at the World Championships. 42 nations last year competed at the mixed doubles Worlds. Amazing, and that's where a lot of the growth of the sport comes in. When you have countries that are emerging, they only need 2 players to get involved.
Yeah, there's a couple of factors, I believe, involved with that. Mixed doubles only requires 2 players, obviously, but the game's so much quicker. They're able to have an event with more teams that are there and still run it in a reasonable amount of time.
They have pool play as opposed to the round robin, but that will be different at the Olympics. As Matt Hamilton is able to bump that one forward into a counting position for the moment. For the Olympics, for men's and women's competition, instead of 12 at the World Championships, it's a 10-nation field. And in mixed doubles, we mentioned there were 42 nations at last year's Worlds, just 8 making it in the Olympics. So it's a tight field. U.S. is qualified. And again, the upcoming mixed doubles trials in Minnesota will decide the U.S. representatives.
Yeah, the Olympic format is slightly different than the World Championships, or drastically in the mixed doubles format, but they did add a team to the World Championships to get to 13 now. Add another team from the Asia Pacific Rim.
And that'll expand the field in future years at World Championships. Right now here, the U.S. would love to expand its lead, but Japan has the hammer in the fourth. 2-1, the United States leading. And the U.S. has the counting stone as Matt Hamilton, blue shoes and all, ready to roll.
86.
Hit. I added. Heavy clean. Yep.
Matt throwing the outturn draw.
Hard.
Trying to get this wrapped around into the top of the forefoot and control the scoring.
Hey, line's pretty good. Wait only. Wait only. You're judge. You're judge. Yep. Yes. Whoa.
Sit. Great shot.
There we go.
Nicely done there. Sort of cornered on that yellow stone. Guarding
Great shot.
the top of the forefoot, or at least controlling the top of the forefoot. Probably a better description. Japanese now attempting to throw the in-turn, try and promote their own a foot or so into the button. Nice view there of how much of that yellow rock is exposed. I can only see the edge of it, but they get the weight right. Should be enough curl at the end. Lots of curl, aggressive finish in these rocks, in this ice, which allowed that shot to be made.
That was a beauty for Team Japan. Now lying one. And the U.S. will have some work to do.
I don't want to jam it.
A great shot by the Japanese there.
Oh, if they jam it, we're going to be right here.
Matt looking over their options. Could tap up the rock that he just threw.
What do you think?
I don't think he can get shot with that, though. He was looking at coming off of that yellow rock up in the top corner of the 12-foot. That's a little tricky.
Okay, I like that.
So although Matt made a great one on his last throw, sometimes it's not always just about what you make, but what you leave your opponent in. With the edge of that yellow rock exposed, the Japanese were able to make a great shot there to get count here in the fourth end.
If you don't make it, we don't have much. But it's a force.
Yeah.
You like the draw? Better?
Sure, even if
I think it's a little safer.
Okay.
Choosing to play the draw.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Trying to just force Japan to take one here in the fourth.
Whoa.
Matt's throwing the in-turn draw.
Whoa.
Great shot, Matt.
Pretty good. He actually rolled the shooter over and moved that rock that's on the center line an inch or two, which helped the situation. They've now got a rock on both sides that they can potentially use. And at the same time have sort of guarded the top of the button. You can see second shot is in the back corner, actually touching a little piece of the button.
Again, the U.S. game plan here looks to be forcing Japan to just take a single with hammer. Next to last shot for the Japanese coming up.
3番2班
えっと
ちょっと重いわ
ちょっと伸ばしたいな曲げたい Yes, yes.
Japan's just trying to guard this mess on the in-turn side of the sheet. Looks like that does the trick.
もう汗が邪魔だ
Just guarded that rock that Matt delivered on his last throw.
Full four. This way. I can come tap mine. I mean, I could put up a guard here.
Yeah, I don't like the tap.
Do you like that, or can I come around this, or no?
Looks
Not
like Beck
enough weight to
could
get
make
this
that
here.
double
Okay.
off the winger, off the rock in the 12-foot. It's a little thin, but it looks like it's probably there to lie one.
Yeah.
Maybe lie two, keep the shooter
Maybe you
there.
should
But
play this. Because they can make this back if they hit it right. They can sit three.
Yeah.
You got to take this
Even
away.
nosing, that's not bad.
Then it's too steep, yeah. But the hit and roll here is fine, too.
It's perfect, yeah. Can I do it? Can I get in there and hit it?
You could, but if you hit ours, you're going to give them a slash at the one, our shooter, for
So we're
two.
not playing for the double.
Well, as the Hamiltons figure out what they're going to do, you hear the action going on in the other sheets. We'll get you score updates here as we're about to hit the halfway point on NBCSN Curling Night in America tonight.
Sure.
So, Pete, the risk
This way or this way?
of going for it now, is it worth it at this point to try to get one in there?
Right in the nose.
as far as risk goes, probably not.
Quarter
I
rock
think
or
there's a
less.
chance they could give Japan a shot for three.
Well, Matt.
They're trying to hit and roll towards the middle. They could roll away, too, and probably accomplish about the same thing.
Roll ours off.
I think if they roll over here and corner freeze the red, they choke
girl.
off the out-turn
Shot.
draw to the button, which is what they've now left Japan. They've also got this skinny tick to kick their own in.
もしくはドローか。
いやこっちの方がいいと思う。
こっちかいか。
Hope to tick that yellow in off the red and keep it in for a second stone.
Pretty thin. Looks like they just have to catch a little tiny piece of the yellow and send it into the top of the red one on the back of the button. So she can throw just about any weight that she wants at this. It's all about hitting it in the right spot.
Well, we haven't had a deuce in the game so far, and if Japan's going to get it, it's going to take a great shot.
Just need a little sliver of their own.
It is great.
Well, I think she made it.
And Matt Hamilton agrees. Japan pulls off a quality deuce. And the Japanese vault themselves in front. 3-2, halfway through our mixed doubles game in Omaha.
That was actually a great shot here. After she lets this go, they don't even lay a brush to it. So she kind of throws it out in the wind, which she has to do, and just waits for it to curl right at the end, makes contact with the side of her own, and just barely gets second count.
Boy, she clipped that perfectly. Right in the old corner pocket. And Japan takes a 3-2 lead to the break. The Olympic Channel, home of Team USA, proudly presenting this latest edition of NBCSN Curling Night in America. From Baxter Arena in Omaha, the United States, trailing Japan in our mixed doubles game tonight. 3-2 the score here as we hit the halfway point. Other scores in this latest draw in the overall competition. Scotland and China tied up at 3 in mixed doubles play. Jamie Sinclair and Team USA cruising against Scotland. And the Chinese women 4-1 leaders on the Japanese ladies squad. As far as our feature game tonight here, Pete, open again the United States with hammer. And Becca Hamilton opted to just play one to the side as Japan had one locked up.
Yep, no good options there for a count. They just elected to throw it away and give up the single.
So the U.S. conceding one, and then the U.S. trying to get on the board in end number 2.
Beck's got a little double tap here. A little wide of the line desired, but gets a little break. Yellow, yellow. Advances their own to score.
So 1-1 after 2 in the third. Things kind of tight in the house. Japan looking to see about an angle. Didn't matter, they were short, and then we get down to a measurement. Matt Hamilton said red, and ultimately, Pete, he was proved right.
Got a little upset here at the method, but things went in their favor.
And then Japan able to find a way in the last end thanks to maybe the best shot of our game so far.
I would have to agree. Here at Japan line 1, they just feather their own rock into the side of the button to pick up a big deuce.
And the first deuce of the game, putting Japan in the lead at 3-2. Well, Matt Hamilton, certainly a unique personality in the game. His footwear unique as well. Are they blue? Are they purple? Let's get the story. Gotta be the shoes. Trendy standing by with Matt.
I'm here with Matt Hamilton, brother, I'm going to say brother of Becca Hamilton, since she always gets sister of Matt Hamilton. Matt, you are known for your shoes. Walk me through the history of Matt Hamilton shoes.
4 years ago, I had some bright orange ones, and then the next year, I found some bright blue metallic leather ones with a big yellow swoosh. And last year, we're all red.
All red, Badger red.
Badger red.
All right, what do we have this year?
This year, we got some Jordan high tops.
These are your first Jordans.
First Jordans, second time doing the metallic color, and I thought purple was gonna make the statement I wanted this year.
What was the statement you wanted to make?
Boom!
Boom, like a broom drop?
Yeah, maybe a broom drop.
All right, so obviously Air Jordans do not come equipped to curl, so how do you make them curling appropriate?
What I do is I adhere Velcro the hook side to the bottom of my shoes, and I'm able to switch from shoe to shoe without having to change equipment. I can just slap these sliders onto another pair of shoes and shouldn't change my delivery at all or shouldn't change my technique. So it's very interchangeable, and they're holding up pretty good.
I like it, I like it. Matt, thanks so much for showing us. I appreciate it.
The shoes, the story, and the game's pretty good for Matt Hamilton, too. He and his sister will be in action in our final edition of NBCSN Curling Night in America in mixed doubles against Scotland next time out. Right now, the Hamiltons looking to play catch-up, trailing Japan here in Omaha. Here in mixed doubles play on NBCSN Curling Night in America, the U.S. has been pretty successful, but facing a pretty stern test from Japan, the U.S. trailing 3-2. Becca Hamilton ready to talk about it with Trenny.
Becca, in the third, it came down to a measurement. What's going through your mind as you're waiting to see whether or not you get the point?
Yeah, the measurement was a little rough there. I'm not sure if she quite knew what she was doing. It was a roller coaster of emotion. I didn't know if we were going to get the point or not, and she just kept readjusting the measuring device, and luckily it came out on our half. So
you are down one going into the fifth, but with the hammer. What is the strategy against a pretty experienced and probably your best competition here team in Japan?
We're just going to have to sharpen up. Japan's playing very well. We're there. We just need to make a little more, and I think that we're going to come out.
All right, Becca, best of luck in the second half. Thanks.
Thank you.
Trenny, Becca, thanks. That's the way it looks. Singles first three ends. Japan with two in the fourth. U.S. has hammer here in the fifth. Pete, are you surprised how this game's been played? We see so many times in mixed doubles opportunities for 2, 3, 4, 5 point scoring ends, and we've only had one multiple point end so far.
Yeah, there's been lots of rocks in play as per usual, but just a shot missed here and there in each end, and that really was what we see on the board here. It's what's prevented those large ends from happening.
And each team has a power play still at its disposal when the rocks are placed on the side of the sheet to induce even more action. We'll see when they opt to use that.
Where is it? Yep. It's there.
The U.S. not using it at this point.
Whoa. Whoa.
Even though they're down one here in the fifth. Perfecto.
Pretty good shot there by Beck, able to move those rocks and rearrange the angle a little bit.
Can you shout out just a few weights?
Yeah, I didn't say it. I just said it was there.
Yeah.
Good exchange there by Matt and Becca. She just wants him to be a little more specific when he's sweeping her rocks so she can call line better. Let her know the speed of the shooter.
Kenji Tamabechi playing rocks 2, 3, and 4, the middle three for Team Japan. His wife stepping in to help with the sweeping.
This rock over curling a little. Actually probably came all the way out the other side of that guard, probably exposed on the in-turn completely.
You said don't touch our red?
Don't.
Okay.
We'd rather touch their yellow and shoot and bounce over than
All right.
go
Let
straight
me know if
to
you're
it.
further out.
Well, I'm going to throw it just a touch wider.
Okay.
Going at that SN.
Okay.
Always good when they can use the call letters as a target here. Looking for the SN on NBCSN.
Close though.
You're welcome.
Mine's good. Whoa!
Just clean it.
As in
It's all there.
similar to bowling,
Close.
Coming down.
when
Yep.
the bowlers throw at spots on the floor.
For line.
In mixed doubles, since there's nobody holding the broom at the other end, the athletes have to pick out spots of
Right to
reference.
it. Touch the yellow first.
Well, he threw it right on the SN and on the NBCSN Curling Night in America button. Crowded house, full of rocks, fifth end. Critical end here for the United States. Down one, but the U.S. does have hammer.
Pretty good rock position for Team USA. Here taking advantage of a couple of yellow Japanese stones lingering in the back of the 4-foot.
広くない ?4 番だよ。
Over 80% for Kenji Tamabechi in this game. Pretty good shooting in the mixed doubles game.
Yeah, pretty good numbers for mixed, I agree. We do see the numbers a little lower typically in mixed doubles than in the conventional game, due mostly to the fact that there's nobody holding the broom, and the sweeping is discounted a little bit with only one sweeper.
Just adds to the potential volatility.
I like board.
Yeah.
So I want to get some action off that one.
Well, we don't want to roll shooter, do we?
No, I want to sit right here.
Right.
Even getting to the inside is good.
Okay.
There's a look at the house. U.S. has got one.
Right.
Looks like that Japanese stone is in there as second count.
Edge of the 4-foot roughly.
You showing board?
Packed board.
You agree?
Yep, looks good for the U.S. right now with that shot rock in the back of the button.
Oh.
But it's not really going to go anywhere. So Matt's going to try and hit second shot
Board, right
on the nose.
Right off. It's got to move a mile.
Kind of bounce it off a shot rock and choke
Back
off
on
the
yellow.
button.
On the yellow, if anything.
And Matt missing his intended target.
Not his best throw of the day
I
there.
just pitched it.
Backed it up when he let it go. Looked like he was probably a little heavy as well, so that rock just ran on him.
ここにくっつけてみる。
こっちもあるよね。
Again, backing it up.
あるよね。
Explain
ある
that.
ね。
When he,
でもこっ
upon
ちにつけば
release,
出ちゃう
he just set it back towards the broom away from the target rock, which got the rock moving in the wrong direction virtually. Just never was able to catch the curl. Still, the U.S. is in pretty good shape because their rocks are in such good position.
やめとくか。
This number 3 red rock, which is currently shot, is in jail for the most part. Japanese can move it around a little bit, but they aren't going to be able to remove it.
クリーン。前でいいわ。
Last rock here, N5 for
あーそうだ
Japan.
なクリーンして。
2
まだまだまだまだ伸ばさない伸ばさない伸ばさない。綺麗すぎるから。
Japan's just trying to protect second count.
わあ曲がる。
And that overcurls a little bit. They would have liked for that to have hung out on a wider line.
And much like the U.S. in end number 1, when they were trying to protect only giving up one, Japan in a similar spot right now.
I know, I'm saying, can I go this way? My
It looks like
biggest chance is just tap-
U.S.
tapping
should
that.
have a shot for 2 here.
Come this way with hack. Back line.
I don't even know if you need that. Just throw it.
Just have to kick that top red rock sideways and move the Japanese
so
stone a
aim
couple
here.
of inches.
Back line.
Aim here.
Back line.
T. Just touch it.
Just touch. We have to move the yellow, don't we?
I don't know, and I don't want to tap it too hard and give up a point.
Yeah.
Back 4.
Good advice there from Matt. They've got
Edge aim.
shot rock. They're guaranteed to score. He just told Beck to throw it nice and soft and just tap our own rock onto theirs. You don't have to move that yellow rock very far to count 2.
You get a sense, too, of their relationship and their emotions. Matt says he's more of a emotions on your sleeve kind of guy. Becca a little more reserved.
5.
Matt a little more vocal there.
10.
Yep.
And Becca
Whoa.
agreeing.
Whoa.
and try to pull off this last shot.
No, not at all.
Just needs to catch the side of her own.
Whoa!
The rock that's on the top of the button.
Get there. I think
Didn't
you got
move him a lot, but may have moved him
One
enough.
for sure.
Well, I think she
One
might
for
have moved
sure.
it far enough because she kicked hers in slightly and moved the Japanese stone away from the pinhole slightly.
Oh, let me look.
Well, they've definitely got one. They've moved the
Yeah.
one on the button out, and now they've both signaled that they want another measurement. So as you like to say on the ice, time to get the stick. And they will measure again. All right, what do the eyes tell you here?
I think they moved that yellow one far enough. And I think
It's close.
Team
This one's
USA is
actually
going to
really
get
close,
two
though.
here. Got a good shot of the pinhole right in the middle of the button. That's where the measuring stick goes.
And they will bring it out again and set it and measure.
Interesting, now there's two people to measure this time.
So they'll tighten it up, get it set, mark one, and then judge that to the other one.
Keep going. Don't want to go by it.
And Matt, yeah, much like athletes, coaches in other sports, they're trying to assist with the process.
Just a little bit, all right?
More instructions for the official.
And they've given it to the red. So the U.S. getting the benefit of both measurements, and two here for Team USA, and the lead back to the Americans. The Hamiltons, they are measuring up tonight. Third lead change of the game, finding the U.S. back on top at 4-3. Japan has the hammer here in the sixth. Remember, an 8-end game here in NBCSN Curling Night in America.
Line's fine.
Okay, just cleaning.
Becca Hamilton
Line only.
batting leadoff here for Team USA in the sixth.
Here it goes. You don't need a switch.
Okay.
Whoa. Whoa.
Nice shot.
A typical start here for Becca.
Sorry, you're going to trade jerseys?
Shot rock. Trying to kind of get it to the top of the 4 foot, but that one goes all the way to the back button. But nevertheless, shot rock.
ウェイトは
ちょっと履きたい。
あ履いていいよ。
First stone here for Japan in this end.
Yes.
These first few shots of each end are really set up shots, trying to establish control of the 4 foot and gain position on your opponent's stones. It's all about angles.
Yeah. I added. Pretty big add, too.
Matt with
Well
a
done.
in-turn freeze here, just trying to follow the Japanese down
Yep.
and
Yep.
glue this shooter right on the corner.
Wait on me. Close.
It's there.
Hold on, hold on,
There.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Go, Becca, go. Go, go, go. Whoa.
Colin, wait.
I was trying to tap it over to the side.
あ結構ダブルも狙えるけど。バンパ
Not
ンぐらいやってみ
exactly
る
where the U.S. had intended.
ハックでやる。
Just Matt a little heavy there.
3番。
I think at the end he was trying to just get that Japanese shoot or that Japanese stone moved over and back a little bit.
ちょっとこれもいいんだよね。ちょっとこれ押して下げて。いやこっちでいいよ。
looks like the Japanese now can come down with an in-turn draw and just tap that rock delivered by Matt to the back of the button. Even back 4 foot, create a little pocket. Get the American stones in the back part of the house where the Japanese, can use them to their advantage. Nice and tight by the guard. Nicely done. Actually even made the 4th stone in the 4 foot good now for the time being.
That's better. If we come around, they're going to have an easy.
What?
Said, yeah, I like that tap.
Yeah, if we come around, they're going to play that tap.
Yeah.
We got to corner it.
So talking about a tap.
Yeah, Matt and Becca need to move these,
So I threw a 90,
especially
but I have to
this
stab.
yellow stone on the top of the 4 foot. They need to get that moved back a little bit.
Top 4.
Look at Matt, and great to hear more about the
4-0.
A little bit. I didn't add
purple
much, so
shoes.
Go ahead.
Sometimes when the light reflects on them, they look a little
Hard back.
blue, or pick your
Hurry.
color in that spectrum.
It looks like they've elected to play the in-turn draw. Trying to get it
Close it goes. That's okay. That's okay. It cuts the draw.
up on top of that yellow stone.
Don't line it up. This way.
ここに置こう。
With the amount of curl in the ice, that red rock in the top of the 8 foot almost is serving as a guard. Japanese can probably get right halfway around it and maybe cornered on the red one. It's in the back of the button currently. Looks like there's lots of room still. Lots of curling for this rock to do.
はい、曲がってきてる。
来てるけどまだ外。前がいいよ。
Want to keep it above the T line.
まだまだ。わわわ。
Got some woes in there. Didn't quite woe enough.
You can see that rock actually creates a pocket now for Matt to just throw an in-turn draw
90.
right into the top of the button.
Stay close.
If he makes this good, the Japanese are going to have a tough time with it.
Line's okay. Whoa. Close though. Close.
What's up?
Whoa. Whoa. It's coming in. Other side. Other side. Whoa.
So it needs to turn over a little bit as well.
Curl. Whoa.
Weight's better, but
Whoa.
the line isn't. Boy, nearly perfect weight. That rock had to curl a whole nother foot.
ウェイトは？
T レイト、T から8だけど。
So now, by missing the pocket, they've left it open here for Japan.
9でもいいよ。
Japanese will have another try here. Trying to get one into the top of the button.
And now Tamabechi, too,
いい？
has that memory of the similar shot played with his last rock and seeing how Matt Hamilton's went in a similar position to try to gauge where to put this one.
Exactly, and that's a big part of the game of curling is going to school on
早い。
rocks that are previously thrown in like paths. Another error here. He's heavy.
ちょっと広いかもしれない。
8ぐらいあるわ。
Well, it's a tricky spot to hit. 3 rocks in a row trying to aim for the button, and nobody's gotten one there.
Neither team has been able to make the proper adjustments so far.
Yeah. 85, 90.
It's just like when you're,
85.
if you're a golfer messing around with friends in the putting green, you say, you just can't make that one. Is that what it feels like in this when nobody can put one in?
It sure can at times after several attempts. May work out in their favor here after Matt
80.
attempting
I'm just good.
to make this shot on this line.
Matt.
Becca now gets to throw it, so
Gotta move.
She doesn't really, all she has are straight numbers to go off of, so see if she can get one in here better. Line's still not very good.
And the answer is no, not right now. Opportunities there for a bunch, but
ちょっと当たってここでも大丈夫か。当たんな
now
い方がいい。
Japan looks at this.
泥しかないから。
いっぱいは無理。
ワンツーは
Looks
確
like
定
they've
だ
got a draw for 3.
うん。泥でいい。
Got to figure out the best way to wiggle one into the top of the button. They can either come off of that redstone just delivered by Becca Hamilton, or they can just throw the in-turn draw in there cold.
Well, the harbor is open. It's been there available. Last handful of rocks. Can the Japanese sail one to the dock?
ちょっと早め。
They've definitely seen enough shots come down this path by now.
ここのライン曲がんないんだよね。
Expect this one to be close.
曲がってきてる。
おおお。よしよしよし。
Line looks
こ
better.
の気がするけど。こうじゃない？
Still plenty of weight.
赤ちょっとチップして中に来るか。
やっやっやっやっやっやっやっ。
Well, it wasn't perfect. A chance there for 3.
いいの？3だな。
And still it's a count of 2 for Japan.
Sorry.
Sorry.
We're good?
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
No measurement this time. Japan gets its
2 and I was like,
deuce
oh, no.
and the lead back 5-4 through 6 in Omaha.
Well, he said 2.
あんまり考えないです。
Bit of a roller coaster ride tonight on NBCSN Curling Night in America. The lead swapped again. Japan's got it back at 5-4 with 2 ends left, and the U.S. beat, putting its power play into effect. Those first 2 placed rocks in the end moved to one side.
In a close game, we see this pretty frequently. Teams tend to wait till later in the game. Obviously 5-4 here. Hamilton's looking to gain control of this game at this point.
And again, with the rocks placed not in the center line, but on the side, it opens things up and essentially, in theory, should open up play.
Yeah, and reduces really the chance for the team without hammer to steal. This power play, I feel like it typically favors the team with a hammer.
Yep.
And the U.S. would love to score its 2 and have the lead.
Hurry, Matt. Hold it straight. Yep. Hurry.
With one end coming after this one.
Stay on it. Stay on it, Matt. Yep.
Matt trying to get a bye. Pretty much end-to-end sweep. Didn't really have enough weight there. I think that had a lot to do with that rock over curling.
Baby it.
So the U.S. with a miss to start. See how Japan goes about its business here.
上痛いよ。
The Japanese looking to take advantage of that
5、5、4、
miss by Becca.
3。
Trying to get one around those guards into the top of the forefoot.
重いわ。かけて。
This one doesn't have the distance either. Might get the paint, but I would like that in there a little better, a little further into the forefoot.
You like the
You
tap?
draw in. What do you want to do?
I don't mind the tap.
Kind of a long tap. Matt's referring to here this in-turn tap on the lone red guard.
62.
But lots of options if he happens to hit it perfect. They would lie 2. If he fractures it either on the high side or if he crosses face, just opens things up. That doesn't hurt their feelings too much either. Needs to sit down.
Sit.
That's fine.
It does not.
That's fine.
Japan able to sweep an opposing team's rock once it goes past the center line. Japan trying to draw that further. That's
何でもいい
another
よ。指示出して。
miss here early in the end for Team USA.
パンパ
Yeah, I'd call it probably a partial make just because they lie too, but it's deep and in the open here, and gives a little opportunity to the Japanese team.
Again, the U.S. mixed doubles tandem has throttled some foes throughout this competition so far, but they are being put to the test by Japan so far tonight.
Japanese are playing pretty well. Both teams have struggled a little bit with the line in this game, but all in all, pretty good battle.
Simple hit for Japan to replace that U.S. red rock in the back of the 8-foot.
Japanese playing the scoreboard just a little bit there with a 1-point lead. They elected to kill that American stone in the back of the 8-foot.
Whoa! Close! Yep! Whoa! Whoa!
Matt's trying to do the same and roll under cover.
Didn't quite get to cover. U.S. is lying too.
Yeah, not too bad of a spot now. That rock's starting to work its way into the 4-foot. Japanese are going to try and do the same thing here. They'd like to roll this under cover if they could. Killing the American stone is primary. She needs to curl a long ways to get any sort of inward roll.
Teams keep trading that rock spot. And as Pete touched on before, it's moving closer to the center of the house, now in the 4-foot.
All right, Beck, stay close here.
Right on the tee line now. If Matt makes a good one here, he'll likely catch a piece of the button.
Mine's good. It's got to curl. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hitting and rolling out isn't bad, Matt. Rolling the open.
Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Yep. Roll it.
Good call by Beck there to just roll that in the open and kind of preserve the deuce that they've got going currently. Could have rolled it even further.
Each team with one rock remaining. What's Japan's thought process here?
Well, Japan, as they did earlier in the end, they're just playing the scoreboard. They're trying to hit and roll under cover and give themselves a chance at a steal, but mainly they want to make sure that they make contact and this American stone on the tee line is gone. So hit and stay first, roll under cover would be optimal.
Yep.
Kind of lost that into the curl, and now looks like just an open draw for 2.
Yeah, that was option C, which wasn't any good. That's hit and roll out of contention.
And they wanted to make sure that they stayed for at least shot rock.
So now the U.S. has one in the bag and a pretty wide open draw for 2.
85.
80. A little farther out.
So a little bit of a newer, slower path here for Becca's draw.
Wait's there. Line only.
Where's the weight?
Line only.
Line's fine.
Wait's good.
Here it goes. Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Line looks plenty good. They're by the yellow. Just needs to stop fully on the paint.
Scooted towards the back, but back of the 8-foot is fine. Too good for the United States, and the U.S. scooting back in front. Been a fun one tonight in Omaha. U.S. 6-5, one end left.
Power play.
Well, you look at the lead shifting back and forth between the United States and Japan. If that form holds, the Japanese could knock off the Americans. Becca Hamilton and her brother Matt hoping that's not the case. Japan has the hammer here as we work our way towards a conclusion on NBCSN Curling Night in America.
On its own. Well,
So the power play in
Okay.
effect now for the Japanese, trying to pick up a deuce to win. Team USA establishing that center guard.
But the U.S. in protect mode here with that 1-point cushion without hammer. How do you go about being
バックにしよ
not too cautious?
Yeah, well, in this game of mixed doubles, they almost have to play for the steal just because of the nature of the game.
う。クリーン。
So that's why they started with a center guard, trying to plug up the middle.
Yep. Yep.
Japan wants to
Yep.
open up the middle.
Yep.
So they're playing the tick here, trying to tap that American stone over to the side and roll the shooter out of the way.
Okay, nice shot.
Well, they knocked the American shooter to the side, but to the house as well.
They would like to
Some of
roll
that
the
yellow.
shooter a little further too off the
number?
center line just to
What?
What do you
get
want?
things
6.
opened up a little bit better.
Just under the yellow, huh?
Just come around it, right?
What? Yeah. All right, it's got to be full 8 foot.
Are you coming around ours?
The yellow.
Or yeah.
Clean.
So Matt just drawing
Yep.
Only for
with
line.
the out turn
Only for line.
around that Japanese
Yep.
stone, trying to
Yep.
get this into the top of the 8-foot.
Hurry. Okay, line's good. Full 8.
Beck's trying to hold the line
Line's
here.
perfect. Go. Whoa, whoa.
Great shot. Perfect.
Pretty well done.
Almost landed on my ass. I stopped.
He stopped to yell at me.
We didn't need to carve it.
They never seemingly get through without a playful jab at one another. Maybe, Pete, part of what makes them play so well together.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Sound
definitely a
bounce, Kyle.
dialogue that goes on between the two of them that you don't typically hear amongst teammates.
It has worked to a winning combination for that American pair. Mixed doubles national champs this past season,
ラインだけ。
and a trip to Worlds as well, helping secure the Olympic spot for the United States, along with Joe Polo and Tabitha Peterson, who in 2016 won world bronze.
Yep, yep, yep.
As Japan knocks that one out through the back of the house. Combination of results from the last two mixed doubles worlds deciding the Olympic spots for Pyeongchang.
You know, Beck, just making the rolls good, so I'm just going to throw control to board
Okay.
because I only have a quarter of it.
Okay. Board.
Close. Yep.
That's just trying to
Oh,
remove this
wow.
Japanese stone. Board weight, soft
Board,
enough
yeah,
so it'll finish a little
yeah.
bit after the guard.
Hard! 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 Whoa!
Nicely done again. Good sweep job by Beck to get it by that guard.
Snapped on you. Huh? It snapped on you.
Sure did.
Just eluding the guard, and the U.S. now lying one. Remember, if Japan finds a way to get one in this end and we end up tied, no extra ends on our NBCSN Curling Night in America format. Instead, we'd go to a tie-breaking draw to the button, one shot for each team. Japan able to find that through the port and knock the U.S. stone out. Count of 2 now for Japan.
Almost rolled that shooter.
What's the timeout for?
Under the corner guard.
Playing the double?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I can see plenty of it. We just got to go.
Okay, let's go.
Heard the U.S. discussing whether to take a timeout and further look at things, but opting to save the one if they need it. Each team gets one in a game. And you use it to stop the clock that's running to make sure all your shots get played. You look at the U.S. clock moving. And Pete, it runs when you're not shooting. Once Matt Hamilton releases it, it'll stop. Got to complete all your shots in the allotted time.
Get out!
There's a beauty.
Double takeout for Matt Hamilton.
Big shot there by Matt to remove both those Japanese stones. They were lying 2. Gets this out turn closely past the guard. Just clips the back one.
Got the celebration down pat. And the purple kicks doing their thing. So too are the Hamiltons. Now Japan trying to work its way back offensively in the end. They've got to get at least one.
They look pretty good for one here with not too many rocks in the house, just the one rock up in the 12-foot, but trying to set something up here for a possible 2.
And that won't help.
That's a bad miss. Light and a little tight to the guard. And
just take it a normal draw.
Rex is center guard.
That last one around the corner.
Well, one rock left for each team. What can the U.S. do to limit Japan here? Right now, the Japanese have to hope to have a draw for one on that last stone.
Yeah, Team USA now is just going to throw a draw in here and try and get it into the 4-foot the best they can and make any sort of a draw for the Japanese as difficult as possible.
Go to the edge of the scoreboard. I just want to crash. Like they've been moving quite a bit.
I mean, okay.
A little less?
Yeah. Right in the middle of that red rock there.
And again, trying to give Becca an aiming point with no broom at the other end with just 2 players.
Well,
weight's good.
Stay close, yep.
I know, Nate.
Whoa! Whoa! Yeah! Yeah!
Starting to curl now. Becca's got him going hard to get it by the guard.
Go! 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 Whoa! Whoa!
Put it right on the top of the button now.
Nice shot! Come on!
Beauty there for the United States. And now Japan has to almost be perfect to the button for one to send us to a tie-breaking draw to the button.
Japan has to actually catch a pretty nice chunk of the button for the tie. Good team shot there by Matt and Becca.
Now the U.S. may be saving its best for the last end. Matt Hamilton with a wonderful double takeout. And now Becca Hamilton with a steely draw. And Japan took a timeout, essentially to stop the clock. They can talk about it a little bit more, but really it's pretty decided. They've either got to get one inside that red one or remove it.
Yeah, and removing it at this point is, well, they probably could come off that winger, but the draw is a shot here. There's really not much for them to discuss. They just need to get the ice right here and put one right on the tee line.
Again, they make it. They live to shoot again in the tiebreaker. They miss. The U.S. gets another W. And the overall win here on NBCSN Curling Night in America.
Couple of brush strokes there. The Japanese don't mind it too much. Oh, it needs to hit the brakes, though.
And the break's not there. Too strong, and the United States prevails. Put two more on the board for Team USA and an 8-5 win over Japan. Back to wrap it up from Omaha in a moment. NBCSN Curling Night in America has been brought to you by Cryomax 8-Hour Cold Packs, the most advanced cold therapy technology available today. By the members and sponsors of USA Curling. By the World Curling Federation, proud supporter of curling everywhere. And by TeamUSAShop.com, where every purchase helps support your Team USA athletes. A successful season for Team USA on NBCSN Curling Night in America. The latest W provided by Matt and Becca Hamilton. And it's seemingly worth more than one win. They're standing by to chat about it with Trenny.
Matt, Becca, you guys won your division, even though you still have one match left to play in this tournament. And this win wins the tournament overall for the United States. How much pressure did you guys feel out there, and how did you harness it?
You know, I mean, there's always that like pressure in the back of your head, but me and Becca, we know what we're doing. We know what we have to do and how to execute. And Becca just took a couple deep breaths there before that last draw and put it right where it needed to go.
Yeah, Becca, you said that this match was a grind. Japan's a very good team. They've played together for a long time. What was the key for you guys to pull it out in the last couple of frames?
Japan's a great team. We just had to really, really tighten up on our shots, make everything. And luckily, we ended up with the win, and that's what we needed.
All right, guys, congratulations. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess Matt and Becca are number one. How about the shot of the day brought to you by the 2018 World Men's Curling Championship? Tough one to pick here.
Yep. Yeah, but here we go in the last end with a 1-point lead. Japan lying 2. Matt makes a big double through the hole to remove both Japanese stones.
2 for the price of 1 for Team USA, and the hit and stay package, the #1 way to watch live curling at the upcoming Men's Worlds. Ticket and hotel packages available at OrleansArena.com. Other scores from this draw: China winning in mixed doubles 8-3 over Scotland. Meantime, Jamie Sinclair and Team USA hanging on against the Scottish women 8-7, and China better than the Japan women by a final count of 6-2. So the overall standings in the American Cup, the United States has enough points to clinch the overall title headed into our final edition of our season-long series. Coming up next time we see you from Omaha. And the United States will round things out against Scotland. Matt and Becca Hamilton, one more go-round here for Team USA in our featured game of the night. Been fun having you with us, and fun listening and watching the Hamiltons and all of our talented competitors so far this season. For Pete Fenton, Trenny Kazmarek, and our entire hardworking crew, this is Jason Knapp saying so long, and thanks for making this night another NBCSN Curling Night in America.
Let's go!